September 13th, when Crawford and Canelo meet in the ring, that's when we all gonna know what we all gonna find out who's the better man that night. We're gonna all find out whether it's Terence Crawford, whether it's Canelo Alvarez. Now, one thing is, what I don't see happening, I don't see Bud fans, for the most part, I don't see Bud fans making excuses for Terence Crawford if he loses, if he gets outboxed, if he gets knocked out. I don't see Bud fans making those excuses Sunday morning. I don't see it. What I see happening is Bud fans probably say, well, hey, listen, he just got beat by the better man. He got beat by the better man that night. You know, it's not gonna be a thing where 1,001 excuses come out after he loses. Okay, because we all knew that Terence Crawford was going up in weight. We all know he skipped a weight class or two. Does that mean that's why he's gonna lose? No, it could also mean that Canelo just was better than him. You know, so that's something that we would have to admit. But a lot of people, like if Canelo knocks him out, the Canelo fans is gonna, I have a question. Is it he knocked out Bud because he was a better fighter than Bud, or is it because he was bigger than Bud? Like, which one? I would like to know, what would they think? What would they say? But no, you're not going to see those excuses coming from Bud fans. You're going to see that coming from, just like you saw it with the Errol Spence fanboys, all the excuses they were doing before the fight. They saying that Errol was in tip-top shape, and he was ready to go. He looked good, weigh in and all that stuff. And then after he lost to Crawford, that's when all these million-one excuses came out. He had sleep serum. Somebody rubbed something on his glove and he put it in Errol Spence's eye. Errol didn't look the same. He was high. Errol Spence, the car accident, they had the effects on. No, you're not gonna hear all of that coming from the Terence Crawford fans. Now you might hear some Terence Crawford fans do that, because there are some really extreme Terence Crawford fans. So you might hear that from them, but for the most part, I don't see that happening. You definitely ain't gonna get that from me. Bud loses next day, or if that night, or whatever, God willing, I will come up and say, congratulations to Canelo Alvarez. He was the better man. That's it. It's really that simple, man. This is boxing. It's a competitive sport. Anything can happen in that ring, only thing I just get sick and tired of people saying is there's no way in hell that Crawford can knock him out. I don't believe that, bro. I will never believe that. Never. And y'all know why I don't believe that. From personal experience about bigger dudes getting laid out flat by smaller dudes, and to even in boxing, seeing that happen, so I don't agree with that. Just because he hasn't gotten knocked out by bigger dudes and got hit by bigger dudes, don't mean somebody smaller can't come in there and knock him down, or at least knock him. Either one. I look at things from a different lens than most people. Most people, when they look at things, they have almost like a tunnel vision when they look at stuff. They look at things. They look at one thing, and then they don't look different directions, or how things can go a different way. Like, that's how people are, because what they're used to seeing, they don't think that anything else different can happen. I think that's probably like human nature, you know what I mean? But I'm one that I always think about possibilities. That's the way I operate. I always operated like that. Like, what if this happens? Or, it can go the other way around too. Like, suppose Crawford drop his hands at the wrong time and then Canelo catch him with a right hook or something. Suppose Canelo drop his hands and it's a punch he don't see coming from Bud that buzzes him and hurts him. And also I always look at it from the lens of, when you got a rock and you keep punching on a rock constantly, and the rock chips away little by little, and you keep, hammering at it with a sledgehammer, and until it finally breaks. I kind of look at dudes with chins the same way. It can be like that for any fighter, bro. Like their durability can wear over time. That's something nobody ain't thinking about either, man. All these fights when they do get hit, like, these fights that they do get hit and they take the shots, that shit wears out a fighter, man, over time. How come people don't ever say that about Canelo? That's the strangest thing. When, we've seen fighters with good chins get knocked out and stopped. Eventually, it's my bigger dude. It don't matter what size they are, bro. It just don't. But not saying that that's gonna happen with Crawford. Yeah, I'm gonna just say this: like, anything is possible, bro. This is fucking life, bro. We've seen it already, so let's not act like we haven't. But we, as Terence Crawford fans, most of us, we ain't gonna say that. That's our guy. He went up, he fought, he gave it all he got. That's what we care about. If he goes in there and straight stands 10 toes down and dogs it out, rather that means fight the way he fight, in and out fighting, and he's not gonna give Canelo what he wants, though. He's not gonna just stand there and brawl. Like, that's what they want him to do. They want him to stand in there in the pocket so they can have a nice highlight reel, or they can meme Terence Crawford. Nah, that's not gonna happen. He gonna have to earn that knockout, bro. Straight up. He gonna have to earn that KO. It ain't gonna be no thing where Crawford just gonna stand there and just let him knock him out. You gotta come get this knockout. If you're gonna knock me out, come get it. That's what it's all about, But a lot of people, they think otherwise. They think it's just gonna be a cakewalk. Obviously, man, even Canelo himself don't think it's gonna be a cakewalk. Otherwise, he wouldn't have took in boots for his sparring sessions, man, in his camp, So Canelo know what time it is, man. Crawford know what time it is, and I think both of them are taking this very serious, for different reasons. But I can't wait to see it. But the excuses is not coming from the Crawford fans like they did for the Spence fans. But something that nobody else is bringing up is, what will the excuses be from the Canelo fans if Canelo does lose to Terence Crawford? And it doesn't even have to be by knockout, but if he did get knocked out by Bud, that's gonna be crazy. You know where the excuses is coming from. It's not even just gonna come from the Canelo fans. It's gonna come from a lot of the detractors out there, a lot of these channels that have been pushing that ped stuff. That's coming. If that happens, if he was to KO Canelo, that's what would happen. Now, if he went there straight, pieced him up for 12 rounds, it's still going to be excuses, because they're going to say, well, how did he take those shots from Canelo all night? He had to be on something, and blah, 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 or Canelo was just, he's getting old. He's getting, like, you're going to see that. You're going to see that, because they can't believe what their eyes just witnessed. That's the reason why you're going to get that from them. But may the best man win. Still, shout out to Bud. Shout out to Canelo, man. Let's go. It's time. Team Bud. Let's get it. It's Rebel Light Boxing. I'll catch y'all next one. I'm off this.